Hello, Legion. This is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more of The Long Dark in our Faithful Cartographer miniseries. So we have about, don't know how much time in the day is left. Right now in the test branch, the time of day indicator is a little bit wonky. So the best indicator that I found is checking on a bed. So another thing we could probably do is like throw a bedroll down and check it that way rather than running back up doing what I just did. So this episode we are going to, I hear a little bit of wind outside, which is disconcerting. Let's also take a second to see how our clothing is, because I know that we lost a little bit of condition on stuff when we went to town with that wolf. A couple of wolves, actually. Oh, we failed. That's not nice. So this episode is the last episode of the miniseries. We are going to try and get as much accomplished as we can so that we can see as much of what's new as we can. I think we've mostly covered everything. Now, as far as those of you who might be saying, no, play more, we want more Long Dark, I want to do more Long Dark too. A couple of things that I want to tell you. June is rapidly approaching, and I do new seasons, currently, at least. I've done this 3 different times now, so, I mean, plans could change in the future depending on, you know, Long Dark and what other games I'm playing on the channel and such. For instance, Stellaris has been very successful in the 6 p.m. slots. I'm going to be bringing that in more. But right now, I still very, very much feel that the Long Dark is and will remain a core game for the channel, and every 6 months I do new seasons. This is the only game that I do this for. I do new seasons of Against All Odds, which is a flagship series for my channel. I would maybe even consider it my real flagship. The only argument to that is that the Roma Galactica series is my most viewed series ever. So in terms of literal flagships, that's the one. But that is coming up. The 6-month mark is coming up in not very long at all. So before long, hang on, what's this? What affliction do I have? Risk of intestinal parasites, I'm guessing? Yeah, from infected meat. All right, and what's our curve? Yeah, 4%. We'll be fine. We're not going to contract it. Our chances of getting it are incredibly slim. They're still there. It could happen, but I think we're going to try and avoid it. But yeah, that's the first thing I would say, is that we have more Long Dark content coming very soon. Against All Odds Season 4 will be starting within a month from the time that you're watching this. So that's something to look forward to. The other thing I'll say is, again, this is test branch content. There's no point in doing a long series in test branch content, because you never know, number one, when they say they are, or you never know when they're going to make changes that are worth discussing and that will reset the context of a lot of the series, maybe even reset the save. Like when Faithful Cartographer comes out, the saves will be reset. So, you know, that's one thing that could happen during the test branch, and it'll definitely happen with the save when the test branch ends. So they could decide to launch the test branch, and I could lose it. But on the other hand, as well, this is test branch gameplay. This is not the same as a normal miniseries or showcasing a new patch or anything like that. This is definitely I'm making my way towards the derailment right now. This is definitely, just focused on showing some of the new changes in a test branch without going into too much depth or playing for the long term. So I did not start this series with any intention of it being a normal miniseries, which, for those of you who are newer to my channel or might not know this, the way I normally do 5-episode miniseries is I'll say, or any length miniseries, I normally start with 5, maybe 10. In the case of City Skylines, I started with 10 because I felt like that's what would be needed to show the content. But if I have no intention of going farther, I'll say that. But then let's say I have a lot of fun playing it, and at the same time, people also say, we want more of this, we want to watch more. Then I'll do another 5 episodes. We did this with the Interloper miniseries a while back when Interloper Difficulty came out. I did 5 episodes, people liked it, I did 5 more, people still liked it, I did 5 more. So that's kind of the way I do it. But in this case, I am going to draw a hard line at 5 because it is test branch gameplay, and it's a different context, and I don't think there's any point to, kind of taking a prolonged look at something that is going to change or is not final. I want the final version of this. So hang on, let's stop for a second and let's do some surveying. So evidently this does take a while. Okay, cool. So now we've uncovered a little bit more of the area. All right, let me very carefully, I'm taking my bow out, but I don't have an arrow, so there's no point. Got my stones though. I have yet to actually hit a wolf with a stone. I'm hoping the gun is going to be here in the car. This is one of the other spots where the gun spawns. But we also need to keep heading down this direction because this is the part of the zone we haven't been to yet. We spent the first couple of episodes just making sure we had adequate clothing, which is normal. You have got to be kidding me. He came out of no... Oh, crap, there's two of them. Okay, well, we'll check on the gun later. I'm going to go this way. We'll be back for the gun. I'm gonna not get into a wolf struggle right now. Alright, so one of them is still on me, I think, but it doesn't seem like he's sprinting, so maybe he's backing off a bit. So we're going to make our way towards the other area of the zone we haven't been to yet. That's interesting. I've been able to get away from wolves at a few points. Not every time, but at a few points pretty straightforwardly in the series. Yeah, they both stopped. They backed off when I sprinted off. Interesting. So can you get away from wolves that way now? I mean, I'm not opposed to that. It's new. What do you guys think? Let's think about it. Let's talk about it. I would like to have a discussion on that in the comments. That's not a change that... I didn't mean to throw that stone. That's not a change that we discussed in the patch coverage video, because it's not one that was listed. But I mean, it's cool. So I couldn't quite get to those sticks, by the way. That's why I didn't investigate them. So we're going to do a couple of things here. We're going to go down here to those construction huts. Then we're also going to investigate over there where there could be another hatch. And that particular hatch, I think, is the clothing hatch, if it's there. And if it's there, we might get some very nice clothing items, which would be nice to kind of end the series with. Actually, no. It would have been nice to begin the series with those clothing items, but I'll take what I can get. Okay, so this all seems pretty familiar, like not too much has changed. Let's pick up this book here. I haven't been doing my research just because, frankly, it's not been my focus. And to tell you the truth, since Penitent Scholar came out, okay, this is the new flare model for those of you that wanted to look at it a little more closely. So flares look a little bit different now. And I can totally use a flare to scare off a wolf too, so I need to remember that when I go back to get the gun. So we need to do that. We need to actually throw a flare this episode. So maybe I'll do that after a bit. All right, so there's some more mittens that we got there. Not just any grape soda. Trail boots. We've already got trail boots on. Wait, do we have trail boots or work boots? New trail boots. Yeah, we have trail boots. Okay. Anything else need to be repaired? The wolf socks kind of do. Let's go ahead and do that. 5% left on the sewing kit. So this is probably, if we don't fail, this is our last usage of it. There we go. That's done. Ruined sewing kit. We can go ahead and drop that. Where's our sewing kit? There it is. The one with the giant X over it, Hadrian. God. All right, let's have a look real quick. All right, so if we pull this up, we can tell... I mean, we can't move while this is up, and that's my main beef, but I mean, this does show us our condition indicators. So let's go ahead and eat the energy bar, because that's going to give us 500 calories, and we'll eat the beef jerky as well. We've got a couple of beef jerkies. All right, that's enough calorie-wise. I think we're good. And we do have that soda, too. I probably should have drank that first, but I'll drink it later. All right, so anything else in here? Anything under the beds? Any MREs? MREs can be in here, so it's worth looking. No, you can also break those down for cloth, but I don't feel the need to at the moment. All right, let's go over here. I kind of think that the indicator in the bottom right there that shows, oh hey, new storm lantern, nice. I'm going to leave it because I don't need it. Well, actually, hang on.
Nobody needs this anymore.
Grab it and harvest it. Sport vest, nice. Finally, a new clothing item. New cotton toque. All right, we're finding some clothing in here. I wasn't expecting to find clothing. Pork and beans. All right, so let's go into our inventory. We'll just use the B key. Need to get in that habit. All right, so this is our... Yeah, there's a little bit of fuel in here. Let's go ahead and just... let's harvest this thing for the scrap metal, and we'll get the fuel back as well, which is the reason I want to harvest it. All right, let's refuel this thing. Done. Still have a little bit of fuel on us, so we can use that to start fires if we need. And now let's take a look at our clothing interface, because we have a new option here, finally. We can wear this and get some additional warmth. Let's also repair it a little bit because it needs it. Now this is wearing away at our daylight a little bit. Insufficient materials for repair, of course. So now we've got to get some cloth from our surroundings, but thankfully we have a number of things nearby which we can use to do that. Let's get that book. Anything else in here? Nope. Old bedroll and pillow. This is going to take 27 minutes. The pillow would take 9 minutes. Let's just break down the pillow for now. I'd rather save time. There's another pillow. There we go. I was about to say, was that glitched? Or were there really 2 pillows in one place? Alright, now, yeah, we need to repair this guy. And hopefully we'll still have some daylight left, because I want to go check on that hatch location. Wow. Are you serious? 3 failed attempts in a row. Thanks, game. Appreciate that very much. All right, I guess we're breaking down the bedroll then. And we'll have to rest here, especially because I can hear a storm coming in now. Wow, thanks. Appreciate that, game. That's real nice of you. This is exactly what I wanted.
This pack is getting kind of heavy.
All right. Failed again. I'm telling you, man. Early repair skill in the Lawn Dark before you build it up is rough. Alright, we've got a full-fledged blizzard outside, but we have repaired our brand new clothing item, and that's going to help us stay a little bit warmer. I haven't been doing a good job of checking my, well, I have 2 toques, so I might as well just put the other one on. So we got 2 toques on now, that's going to help as well. Now we have an additional pair of gloves, which I can harvest for some cloth. I know it doesn't look like it's daylight in here, but it totally is. Let's tell you what, let's go ahead and repair the jeans. It doesn't, if your items are generally 90% or better, can't repair in the dark. Oh, thanks, appreciate that. Oh, wonderful. God. I don't even remember what I was saying anymore. That distracted me. Yeah, if your items are at 90% or better, you're typically okay. Usually. I mean, you're usually all right. What am I looking for? Yeah, food. But if they're the items that you wear on your torso, those are the ones that tend to provide the biggest bonuses. And so going ahead and making an effort to fully repair those, even when their condition is not really that wanting, can still yield good benefits. I didn't want to spend any of this episode hunkered down by a blizzard, but gotta do what you gotta do. Let's go ahead and sleep. Alright, risk of intestinal parasites has passed. Oh, look, we almost slept through the night. That's a frickin' miracle. I wasn't expecting that. I do think, and this isn't an aspect of the current test branch or anything, this is just an aspect of the current version of the Lawn Dark. I think that the game should incorporate a little bit more circadian rhythm style interpretation of sleeping, to where if you're fully rested but there's only a few more hours until I think what would be better is if you're fully rested in the middle of the night, right, and you need a few more hours sleep before morning, I think the human body typically tends to stay asleep until at least daylight. So maybe have the body sleep until 6. But if you want, if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to go all the way in the way of that, if you're hinterland and you don't want to go all the way in the way of that suggestion, that's fine. What you can do instead, let's see, negative, it feels like 12 degrees right now. We're actually, I think we're okay to move a little bit. So hang on, have I visited all the huts? I don't think I went in this one yet. What you can do instead is you can have like a lethargic condition modifier, where you wake up and maybe for a few hours, you maybe your vision's a little bit blurry or something. I mean, not for a few hours, but you know what I mean. There's some kind of effect that you would get when you oversleep or sleep too much. You know, you get that that feeling of lethargy. That would be kind of cool.
I'll take it.
All right, ragged jeans. I think we can wear those. We're starting to layer up our clothing pretty thickly, so I'll have to be careful with that. Let's search the drawer. I'm starting to get used to holding the buttons down. Oh, nice, thick wool sweater. I was not expecting to get a clothing windfall when we got here. I have to be honest, I really wasn't. All right, simple tools. I'm already carrying some simple tools, so I'll probably drop some in a second. But let's take a second to... Let's see if it's technically still dark. Yeah, it's still dark. Let's pass the time so that it's daylight. And now we can technically repair more stuff, I think. But, alright, so we actually, to tell you the truth, we don't need these. Let's go ahead and harvest them. Because genes are outer layer, and we already have 2 outer layers. So I may as well just harvest them. However, we can put this on, this worn thick wool sweater. And its condition is decent, but it needs to be repaired too. So let's do that. All the repairing we've been doing, you would think our skill would go up pretty soon, as opposed to failing repeatedly. Oh, man. Come on, game. I'm using a sewing kit. It can't be... I'm going through all my cloth right now. This is... Thank you. That's all my cloth. Just to get that up to 85% condition. Alright, so we've got substantially better clothing now. That's nice, at least. And it is brighter, because we spent some time doing some repairs. So there's a silver lining, a little bit. I do think I'm going to go ahead and break down this pillow. So I can finish repairing that sweater. Just out of spite, I kind of want to do that. And is there an MRE in here anywhere? There's another pillow. That's good to know. Don't see an MRE. Right, let's break down that pillow. Again, these only take a few minutes, so it's fine. All right. Repair.
Man, I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Done. And leave. I have to say, now that we're heading towards the final few minutes of the mini-series, I'm really impressed with this update. I really like it. The only thing about the new UI that is throwing me is the tab thing. I do think we should have an overlay that shows us most of that information at a glance. I don't think that's too much to ask. I don't think that it takes anything away from anyone to have that option in the game. Because one of the reasons I say that is when you do this, notice what happens. If you hold down where are you? Bastard. All right, we're going to run. We're actually kind of encumbered, so I can't run as fast or as far. Tell you what, let's get a stone out and try and scare him off this way. But yeah, what I was going to say before the wolf attacked me is, I knew there would be a wolf in this area too. Damn. Is that, sorry, multitasking now. Let's go straight up that hill, because that's where we're going to see if we can find the hatch. Did the wolf bugger off again? I think he did, yeah. No, he's still after us. Alright, well, let's keep going then. Hopefully the hatch is here. If not, then we've explored most of our possibilities. Okay, there, he went away. Good. I don't know. I think the wolves should be a little bit... I don't know. I feel like they should keep following you, but maybe that's a change behavior. Again, we'll discuss it in the comments. That's something I don't quite know how to feel about yet. But anyway, what I was saying is, if you are on the PC and you pull up the radio menu and you do your instant click, or if you're on the the console, it pulls up the same screen as hitting tab. So there's like that's the main argument. It's like why would you not have tab be a separate screen like it was before that shows that information as it did? You know? You don't have to use it if you don't want to. If you want this to be the screen people use, it's there. Great. Use it. But have an overlay that works where I can be moving right now while I'm doing this. See, I'm stopping every single time. And it's not quite as off-putting on the round as I thought it would be, but it's still... It makes no sense not to have that ability. And I don't say this with anger or trying to be like critical of Hinterland. You guys should know me at this point. I am in Hinterland's corner. I am. And I have no problem admitting that. So this is about constructive feedback and about advocating for things in a reasonable way that we would do in a situation where there wasn't so much community frustration and anger with the game in the first place. So yeah, just make sure you have context on what I'm saying. I'm not trying to like rail against the game. We need to fix our situation real quick. Oh, we actually don't have much left to drink. This might get us through. Yeah, that's actually all of our water right there. Yeah, we don't have anything left to drink. Let's eat a little bit. I was really hoping to find that hatch and find some stuff there, but it wasn't there. Alright, so now let's go back and see if we can get the gun. We might have to use the... Actually, before I do that... Am I blocked from the wind right now? Yes, I am. Feels like 29 degrees, so we're not that cold, all things considered. Let's take a second to look in our inventory and see what the heavy stuff we're carrying is, because we're way down right now. Oh, it's the fresh wolf pelt. And we also picked up a separate simple tool. So let's go ahead and drop that. I totally forgot to drop the pelt and the guts when I was at the camp. Damn. Totally forgot about that. Because again, I was focused on the meat bag. I was so enthralled with that. But yeah, that's, I think, as of right now, the moment that I'm recording this, that's my only complaint, is the stopping to have to pull that up. Okay, again, we don't have an arrow, so there's no point having that out. But if I have stones... I need to learn to use the radial for more stuff, because it really does work quickly in terms of just like providing an ability to access stuff. All right, so I'm hoping the gun will be in the derailed car here. I really hope it is. We've got a ways to go. We've got to backtrack a little bit to get to it, but don't worry. I'm going to go a little bit longer with this episode. I'm sure you can see the length of the episode. I'm not going to end it at 25. So we've still got some time here. This is the final episode in the miniseries, and I like to have finales be a little bit longer. It's the principle of the thing, right? I don't have a set time, but I don't like to necessarily limit myself to 25 the way I would with an ongoing series. Here's our map. Again, it doesn't show us where we are. So we have to judge using landmarks still, which I like. I don't want there to be a GPS functionality, as the test notes called it. I don't want that at all. I don't think it fits with the Long Dark. I mean, maybe if the game ever gets sophisticated enough, well, no, because you wouldn't be able to just salvage technology and then have something that would give you a GPS, because the point is that, like, technology has been knocked out. So presumably the satellites wouldn't be able to function properly. You know, satellites that might still be up in orbit after whatever geomagnetic disaster has occurred. You know, it's just not something that is feasible to have a GPS indicator of your exact location on a map. All right, a couple of flares. I tell you what, let's get a flare out while we're here, because if there's a wolf nearby, I want to be able to use this. Ragged hoodie, not bad. We're finally finding some clothing right at the end of the miniseries. Ravaged deer carcass. So we could quarter this carcass as well. I'm not going to. But we could get the meat, the hide, and the guts. I don't need the hide and the guts. The meat would be nice. But you know what? I don't need it. We're almost done. So let me just go in and see if I can get the gun. Alright, last time I was here, the wolf was right on the other side. They seem to have moved on. They'll be back, but they're just... Animal patrol routes are pretty wide in this game. There she is.
Oh, thank you.
Has that magazine always been there and I just haven't seen it? Because I think in the past it's been a top-loading, clip-loaded gun. The magazine seems new. Alright, moment of truth. You guys ready? We're going to take the gun out with the new first-person presence. Let's load this thing up. Yeah, see, it's still clip-loaded. So, wait, that doesn't make... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What's happening? Unless my knowledge of this type of weapon is deficient, and if it is, comment. Let me know. Let's talk about it. It'd be cool to learn. But would there be... I mean, yeah, you can do a single load, I suppose, from the top, even when you have a clip like that. But, like, there's a magazine on the bottom. So why would it be clip loaded from the top? And a lot of people confuse those terms, clip and magazine. You know, that thing on the bottom is not a clip. It's a magazine. The thing that we just loaded bullets with that you saw, that's a clip. But yeah, that is a clip. But yeah, that seems weird. Like, I'm not like a gun aficionado, but and I know that Hinterland does their research. I'm not necessarily saying that they like misrepresent anything. I'm just wondering why the heck. God, it's so cool to finally see hands on this thing. It's so much more realistic. All right, let's go pay a visit to Fluffy, shall we? Now, the downside, of course, of having this gun on us finally is that we are definitely encumbered. No question, we're carrying more than we should be carrying. So we're also pretty tired too, and we're gonna be tired as long as we're walking. But okay, so I suppose while I am walking to the dam, and we're at the 25-minute mark, I guess I'll ad-lib some thoughts overall. I've done that throughout the series, but just to talk about this specific test branch and my feelings on it. Talked about it a little bit earlier in the episode too, but this is obviously, as I said in the patch overview video, this, for those of you that watched it and then just dive straight into gameplay, which if you did, I don't blame you. But those of you who did watch the patch overview video, you know that, I mentioned this is probably the last test branch update to the Long Dark before release. It's very likely. I mean, it's possible if they make a snap decision to add any additional content within the timeline between here and August that would make the game even better. If they happen to have a surplus of time and realize, hey, we can do some more stuff. Here's what we're going to do. Let's test it out to make sure it works well. Let's definitely do a test branch so we do the process properly. Then there might be another test branch, but chances are this is the last one. This is the last time you'll ever see me do a test branch miniseries for the Long Dark. Sad day. This is the last time you'll ever see me do coverage for an upcoming patch because, well, I mean, it's not to say that there won't be test branch, and I guess I should qualify all those remarks. I should have qualified it in the first in the first video as well. What I mean is that it's going to be the last test branch for early access. There could still be test branch for patches that are post-release. They're going to be supporting the game after release, including possibly sandbox updates that coincide with adding new features with new chapters of the game. I don't know what their plan is, but I know for a fact that they have sandbox aspirations that go beyond simply the release of Wintermute, which is Chapter 1 of Story Mode. When Wintermute comes out, we won't be necessarily any closer to having 365-day full transition of like seasons in the Long Dark, but that is something they aspire to. Whether it actually happens, I don't know, or whether it's going to happen, I don't know, but they have said that that is something that they would love to do in the Long Dark, is actually have the sandbox be year-round. And if you survive long enough, you'll start to notice the snow melt and the winter, the water melt, or the ice melts into water. And you will have flowing water, we'll have canoes, and we'll have different types of wildlife depending on the time of year. So that would be really cool. That would be an entirely new experience. And that would be wonderful to see the Long Dark take that on in a year or two. I don't imagine it's going to be this year or even next year. If it is, it'll be like a year from now or afterward. Right now, of course, it's May. So probably at least the second half of 2018 before we can even think about receiving that as content from the developers. But so my point in saying all this is that there may very well be more test branch updates to the Long Dark. I've made a big deal about how this might be the last one, but this is definitely likely to be the last one in early access. And it's the last one I'm going to cover while the Long Dark is an early access game. Again, most likely. And I think the updates that it contains, the things that it changes, are the kinds of things that you would expect and hope for from a patch that is being applied a few months before a game's release. I mentioned, I think in the last episode, playing, or maybe 2 episodes ago, playing a lot of Subnautica lately, because I love both games. And the Long Dark and Subnautica have been in early access for a lot of parallel time. And, Subnautica's doing the same thing, where the game is about to come out. It's within a few months of release, and you're starting to see patches. Where are you? You're starting to see patches focus a little bit more. Seriously, where's this wolf? Oh, there you are. Hold that thought. Wolf did a little bit of a sideways walk in there for a second. There must be another wolf nearby. Yeah, there was. There was another one sneaking up on me. Holy crap. I killed his brother and scared him off. Oh, I can't click the carcass. What's going on here? Whoa. What's going on? I couldn't holster my gun. Oh, that was weird. I couldn't holster my gun or click the carcass, so that's something worth reporting. But, okay. So that's dealt with. But anyway, so yes, Nautica's doing the same thing. You're starting to see updates to the game that, like the new interface, for instance. This is definitely the kind of interface that you would expect the game to have as a final version. I know we've been used to the more minimalistic interface in the past. It's been similar to this. I mean, this is very similar to the radio menu. Did I just hear another wolf? Oh, hi. There you are. You're right behind me. Hang on. Hold that thought again. Wasn't expecting this much wolf combat at the end of this episode. I mean, I suppose I could try and go towards the dam a little bit, but that's not as fun. Bring it on, buddy. Come on. You and me. Too easy. Yeah, still can't. After I kill a wolf, unless I put the gun... I can't holster the gun right now. That's the bug. Maybe it's as a result of crouching? No. But if I put it away using the radial, then everything's fine. Interesting. Okay. So I'll have to report that. But anyway, so what I'm saying is that, you know, these patches, the interface changes, it's the exact kind of thing I would have hoped to see. And what's really been a pleasant surprise is the new features that were added. The quartering, the cartography, the stunning of rabbits, and the extra immersion added by the new weather effects and the audio changes and the graphics options that allow us to improve draw distance. I think that is all just an absolutely amazing addition to the Long Dark that wasn't expected, in addition to the interface polish. Oh, things look different in here. Hello. This might be worth looking around before we finish. Might have a long finale episode here. Well, first things first, let's light a flare so that if we see Fluffy, we can scare her off. Him, her. Hang on, anything here? Nothing. Anything here? Nothing. I'm surprised we haven't found a pry bar yet. Yeah, the walls are blue now. That's throwing me off. Maybe we'll find a pry bar in here and we can pry open some of the stuff. Decent t-shirt, nice. We're probably going to find some nice clothing while we're here. Yep, fleece mittens. We've already got pretty good clothing. Not the best in the game, but yeah, we should find a pry bar here. I'd be shocked if we didn't. Hey, more rifle ammo. Just what I wanted. Not that we're short on rifle ammo. We've actually found a lot this series. But we are going to be shooting Fluffy in the face in a couple seconds, so... Simple parka. Hey, we are finding some nice clothing. Orange soda? Don't worry, I'm in no rush to end this episode. I'm enjoying this. Ragged wool toque, excellent. Capping the episode by finding some of the better clothing items. Not the best, again. If we had found the clothing hatch, the clothing prepper cache, then we might have been talking about some better items. But let's take a second. Yeah, see, you can throw flares again. Oh, I love it. Makes me happy. But I think that was Mark Mears' voice. That sounds like, yeah, that definitely sounds like Mark Mears' throw grunt, not Jennifer Hale's. Alright, let's step over here just in case Fluffy comes toward us, because I think it's we're slightly more hidden from him there. Alright, so let's go ahead and switch first of all to the... Ooh, condition is low on that thing, but that's fine. New simple parka needs to replace the windbreaker. Well, the windbreaker actually has better wind protection than the parka, I think. It does, so let's go ahead and replace the vest with the parka. And then we have a hoodie here that we can put on, but it's low condition. And I feel like the sweater's not... I feel like the sweater is ultimately a better item. So we'll play around a little bit with that stuff. Let's take a second to drop some of the items that are encumbering us, because we are carrying a good bit at the moment, including a wolf pelt that we don't need. And, I mean, heck, we can drop our bedroll, too, if we really wanted to lose some weight really quickly. Let's go ahead and drop this reclaimed wood. I just want to be not weighed down if we get into an unexpected fight with Fluffy. Let's drink this. That'll free up some weight. And then let's definitely drink that. We're carrying a good amount of flares too. Let's go ahead and drop these. That'll free up a pound. People have yelled at me in the past for carrying too many flares. In this particular playthrough, again, I haven't been thinking about the long term, so when I pick stuff up, I haven't necessarily been in the same context of like deciding what I'm going to carry and what I'm not. Emergency stim, that's nice. Okay, water purification tablets and a bandage. Book. There's another storm lantern, which we can break down in a second, but first, let's finish exploring this room. Because there's lots to be found here. Okay, so 7. Try and do this somewhat fast. $7.28. I'm impressed this flare is still going. Wow, going all the way back around. Where are you? 728. 728.26. All right. Worn fleece cowl. Okay, well, fleece cowl at this point is not going to be as helpful. There's another flare, so we got a replacement flare for the one we're using right now. Not bad. Wood matches. Hey, cloth. All right, flare's finally going out. So let's put that away. And yeah, hang on. Let's take a second to reevaluate our options here. The fleece cowl is lower condition. It is actually, looks like a little bit better. Yeah, fleece cowl is better than the cotton toque. Was it always that way? The fleece cowl? I guess the fleece cowl was. Yeah, we definitely want to wear that. Absolutely. So we've got some nice clothing now to finish this series. I'm happy with our clothing set. We have some extra items on us though that I want to get rid of. So before I go to confront Fluffy, let's take a look at our inventory first of all. Sorted by weight. New simple parka, we're wearing it, but new sport vest we're not, and it's pretty heavy. So let's go ahead and harvest it. 4 hours daylight left. As long as we have daylight in here, we'll be good to harvest all of our stuff. Decent t-shirt. Harvest. It's going to take 10 minutes. I can't wait to jump into a new season of Against All Odds, you guys. And it's going to be soon. It's going to be soon. I don't know exactly when I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it soon. Alright, so we're about to lose daylight, which makes me nervous. Alright, let's leave those things for now. I'm carrying a lot of stuff, and the stones are heavy, the charcoal's all heavy. Tell you what, this is all about Fluffy, about stopping Fluffy at this point, so let's put all of this stuff down. Let's even put the bedroll down, because we don't need it. We can come back and get it if we feel like we do. This is the last episode of this, so let's go all in. Let's drop the saplings. Those needed to be dropped anyway, because they haven't been curing. I just haven't been paying attention. And yeah, this hunting rifle is actually not in the best condition. We're going to need to repair that soonish. I do like the asterisk showing, you know, hey, look at that. That's a nice way of showing low condition. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, do I have kindling apart from the newspaper? Do I have any tinder plugs? It doesn't matter, really. Like, I can drop all this stuff. Drop the survival bow, yeah. Let's go ahead and drop the newsprint rolls. Okay, clothing-wise, I'm wearing everything. So I'm one of the issues that I have right now is I have a lot of clothing on me. Let's eat a little bit and drink a little bit. This will probably be the last of our water, actually. I doubt we'll make it all the... Oh, we did! We make it all the way... We made it all the way around, and we still have a little bit of water left. Alright, well, that's not... Okay, so there's our stuff. I actually don't hear Fluffy. I haven't heard any footsteps. I haven't heard... Also, we didn't find a pry bar, did we? Nope, we didn't. Let me look one more time in that back room. See if I missed one. Is there something there? No. No. Looks like no pry bar at all. Alright, let's see if our good friend Fluffy's down here. And if not, this will be one big anticlimax. There really wouldn't have been a point to coming to the dam, but are you down here? Here, puppy, 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 puppy. Come on, Fluff. Are you not here? Fluffy's not here. Alright, well... I suppose, if Fluffy's not here... Let's go back upstairs, then. That's bizarre. I don't think Fluffy's a guaranteed spawn, but then again, I feel like I've read at certain points that I feel like Fluffy's supposed to be a guaranteed spawn. So, I guess just to finish my thoughts previously, that I started previously before I got here, I think the patch has added a lot of expected content, like the polish, but also the new content is really, really impressive, and it gives me hope for the future as far as, you know, kind of the ambition of Hinterland and the kind of things they want to add to make the game even better. One of the things that I think is important to keep in mind as we reflect on the length of the Long Dark's development is the number of items that have been added. I'm not talking about in-game items, I just mean list items. Things that have been added to the list of what makes the Long Dark the Long Dark. There are features that we are currently enjoying before early access has even ended that were never part of the Long Dark's original vision. And yet, here we are. And we have access to, you know, just so much. Let me go ahead and throw that. Yeah, that's definitely Mark Mear's throw voice. And yet we have access to these great features. And the game, there have been some moments of real beauty, this series that we've captured. There's a lot to look forward to, but I am very, very hopeful for the next couple of months of the Long Dark as they continue to refine and prepare the game for release. Maybe they will do another patch beforehand. We don't know, but there's no real point speculating about that too much. This patch contains a lot of the kind of stuff that I would have liked to see in the final version of the sandbox, and then some. So I think this game is definitely coming along quite well. Let's go ahead and... Oh, we dropped our charcoal, so we can't do any more of this stuff. But you can see what the map looks like as well. This cartography gameplay is one of the newest things. And you can see the locations we visited, just not the paths between them. So you can roughly see like the direction you need to go from place to place when you're at a certain location. And we know that we're here, for instance. So really, really cool that this has finally been added, and I look forward to seeing the fully revealed maps and focusing on this as part of the gameplay of future series as well. But yeah, just an extraordinary amount of new content, not only expected content, but additional content, which is in keeping with Hinterland's mode of operation, their modus operandi, ever since, you know, the beginning. They've always done a little bit more and tried to do a little bit more than they initially wanted to do, which is sad in a way because I think a lot of people accuse them of actually doing less and of not keeping their word in a lot of ways. But in my opinion, the game has taken longer than they thought to come out with, which is it's an indie game, right? So in my opinion, I'm not trying to argue with anybody. I'm just asserting, my thoughts here and putting them out there as a contribution to the greater dialogue. The game has taken longer because it's an indie studio. It's completely self-funded. It doesn't receive money from anyone else. So there are no purse strings. There's no one influencing the development of this game, which is a very good thing. But the downside is if, the studio falls on difficult times and they're struggling to make ends meet and continue to develop the game at the same time, delays are a reality, even with larger development studios, but particularly with indie game studios. So I think delay is part of the game to a certain extent. It's part of the nature of the beast. And I think now that we have experienced, the Long Dark in so complete a fashion, even before early access is done, it's just testament to the fact. And I mean, by experiencing it in such a complete fashion, what I mean is this patch, changing so much, adding even more to the game than we thought would be added before the patch is even done. That just shows that they're not only focused on keeping their word, even if their timing in doing it is not always as succinct as some of us would like, but also at the same time, they're adding things that make the game even better. And that's part of the reason that sometimes it takes a little bit longer. I mean, that's all the way from the macro level fact that they're releasing the game on PS4 to the micro level additions to the game, the little tiny changes that they make that we never thought they were going to make prior to release, but they did. So I'm really, really impressed so far. I do want Tab to pull up an overlay that I can move while I'm seeing it. But aside from that, I don't think I have any complaints about this update. I've really enjoyed everything about it. Again, there were moments of genuine awe in the process, and hilarity too, in the process of recording this series. And I appreciate you guys, by the way, for watching it and for participating in the discussion in a civil way and furthering the positivity of Hinterland and the Long Dark's community. I think it's sorely needed right now for people to be thoughtful and to be supportive and to really put their all behind supporting these developers in getting their vision finished. Am I saying you have to do that? No. Am I saying you're allowed to be a disappointed customer? Of course you are. But I think the atmosphere is if you take a flight and go 20,000 feet up and you look down at the situation, I think anyone, regardless of how frustrated you are, can see that the situation is really, really toxic. And in any kind of toxic situation, when you're involved in it, when you're a member of a community or you're a leader of a community, like Raphael or any of the developers at Hinterland, I think there's a certain responsibility that we all have to foster support and positivity and encouragement. And this patch is Hinterland's kind of message in a way. I'm not saying that this is what they said. This is just my interpretation. This is their message saying, hey, look, we've added even more cool stuff to our game before release, and we're not even done yet. We haven't even touched on some of our aspirational items that we would like to get to. So the Long Dark, I think, has a very bright future. It's struggled to reach fruition just because of the indie development of it, the indie aspect of its development. But overall, I'm so pleased with how this series went. I'm pleased with how the patch is running. I look forward to continuing to test it and talk about it and talk about bugs and make sure that faithful Cartographer is actually ready for release. And again, I appreciate you guys very much for watching. There's going to be new Against All Odds content coming out within a couple of weeks, like I was talking about over the past couple of episodes. So keep an eye out for that if you're excited about new Long Dark content, because so am I. I'm very excited, actually. So thanks very much for watching. Comments, as always, are welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys next series.